Hello, everyone. Today we'll be going over how to create the rocket payload. So in the last video in the series of the rocket beginner kit, we went over how to create the rocket spacer attachment, which is what I have on my screen right now. And in this video, we'll be going over how to create the rocket payload, which is the third step in creating our rocket. So follow along with me and let's have some fun. Okay, so what we're going to do is that as we stopped in the last video, we know we have our document here, right? You should have your document, the same document as before, Rocket Kit Beginner, your last name and your first name, kind of like document a little bit. And then you should have two documents so far. You should have Rocket Nose Cone and then Rocket Spacer Attachment. And then you should have your assembly, so your rocket assembly with each time that we make a part or a different part, we assemble it all together to make it look like a rocket. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click this check mark, add sign here, this new tab here, and we're going to create a new Part Studio. Create Part Studio. You see it creates it here. What you can do to kind of like organize a little bit more is that you see it created the Part Studio 1. You can actually just left click and drag and just move it to the side here, to the left. So it's all organized here now. So the assembly, you can actually, what you can do is you can move this as rocket assembly all the way to the left. There you go. So it's the first one. When you remember, so you left click and drag, and you can move anywhere you want. So for Part Studio 1, we're going to go ahead and right click it, and we're going to click rename, and we're going to call it Rocket Payload. Awesome. There we go. Now, afterwards, we're going to go ahead and click Sketch, New Sketch, and we're going to click the front plane. There you go, to make sure it says front plane here. And you go to your view cube over here on the right, and we're going to click front. There we go. Now you can just go ahead and hide the top and right plane, just so it kind of makes your view a whole lot neater. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click center point rectangle. You can also, it's R for shortcut on your keyboard. And once we click R or center point rectangle, there we go. We're going to go ahead and click the origin. You can see it makes the yellow cube here, or square. And then we're going to go ahead and just spread it out. And actually, sorry, before this, just click escape. We're going to go ahead and make sure we're at construction rectangle. So you get the construction, center point rectangle. You do the same thing. That way it's not permanent. This is just to like reference for measuring. Now, once we do that, you can go ahead and press escape. You can press escape. And then you can go ahead and measure this. So click the dimension tool or D on your keyboard and dimension this. So it's going to be 1.5 inches. And then the height is going to be 0.75, so 3/4. There we go. 3/4. Sorry. And then to do that, you can see we have the rectangle here. And what we're going to do next is we're just go ahead and click the line tool or L, and we're going to hit this point. There you go. And it can be anywhere, but we're just gonna, once you click here, you're gonna just drag. Oh, sorry, the L key. Just gonna drag and just click it there, and just click make sure you click the dimension line, the construction line, and you just go ahead and want to dimension this point with this point. So it makes that. You're gonna go ahead and put that as 0.25 inches. There you go. And what we're gonna do is that we're gonna make a line again, L key. And what you want to do is that, there you go. So you want to get the midpoint of this line. So you can see this where it creates that imaginary square right here. So that's the midpoint. So you just go ahead and click once, make sure it's that imaginary square. And you see that it constrains it. So it makes that imaginary yellow line that you might see if you zoom in. There you go. So you can see that yellow dotted line. It just means it's going to go straight up. You can see the symbol too. And you're going to hit the midpoint of this line as well. And you're going to press escape on your keyboard. And there you go. You have your line. Now what you want to do is that what you want to do is you want to close your shape here. So you know, click this point and this point to close the shape. Because remember, construction line is not a closed shape. You want to make sure you have a closed shape to be able to do something with it. You would extrude it, revolve it, whatever you want to do. But if it's not a closed shape, you can't do anything with it outside the sketch. And you know it's a closed shape when it's shaded in like this. So we don't necessarily need to make this other side that I'm going to do, but just for reference, just so you have it, you can make it. So what I mean by that is that once you click mirror, you go ahead and click this mirror line here, and you just want to click the entities that you just sketched. And what this does is it creates the same thing on one side on the other, like for example, the same shape. For what we're doing, the shape was not necessary to create this side of the shape, but I just do it just to reference it, just to have it there. Uh, what I'll do next will make more sense. So before we do that, though, I want to rename this sketch one to base sketch. So you right click and then you click rename. Sketch. So you right click, rename, and base sketch. There we go, and press enter. And what we want to do is that we're going to go ahead and click, check my reference here. Sorry. I'm going to go back to front view. Go ahead and click revolve. So Shift W on your keyboard. Not what I want to do. So revolve. And then once we revolve, we're going to go ahead and click this side or the left side of the face. Make sure you're on the front plane. And the revolve axis, so it's highlighted in red. We're going to go ahead and click this line in the middle here. And what that is, it revolves at 360. Like I said, you didn't really need the side of the shape to be able to revolve it completely, but it was a good reference to have in your sketch. Now, instead of revolve one, we're just going to call it revolve one base. Just kind of like help you out when you're naming your sketches here. Now, once we do that, you can see it created a new part. And we're going to call it, you can see where it's part one. We're going to right click part one and call it rocket payload, just to keep going organized. There we go. And once we do that, we'll go ahead and create a new sketch on the top plane here. And you could go ahead and hide the front plane if you want. So click the eyes here to hide it. Maybe like you see this cross line here. And once we do that, we're going to go ahead and click the top plane on the view cube and click sketch and click the circle here. There you go. And we're going to hit center point rectangle again, or R on our keyboard, and hit the midpoint of the circle. So it's going to be this. So we're going to go ahead and just pan out and just click once and it completes the pan. Now, here's the thing I wanted to show you all. So one of the things is that instead of dimensioning, like each time, where you have to press the dimension key and press the line and dimension that, you can instead, here, I'll show you again. Just delete this real quick. You don't have to delete it, but just I wanted to show you. It's a cool like shortcut that you can do to like be more efficient a little bit more. So once you press that rectangle and you press once the left click, you can see it creates that blue shape, but you can see this is highlighted, right? It's like it has a white background on it. That means you can actually edit that dimension automatically without having to hit the dimension key. And what I mean by that is like right now with this being on, I can change the dimension, the length of this. So instead of 0.485, I can change it. What I want the dimension to be is 0.405. There you go. And then you can see now that I have 0.405 on the length, I can change the height or there you go. So instead of 0.51, I'm going to change it to 0.405 to make it a square. And you can see I didn't have to like click this line here with the dimension. You can't do it like that. Instead, I could have just done it like that, where I just showed you where it has the white background over the under the number, so you can do it more efficient way. If you don't want to do that, that's completely fine. It's just something I started doing when I found out about it because it cut time throughout my sketches, just doing it more efficiently. If you already knew what dimension you wanted your sketch to be or whatever you're sketching. So now that it's 0.405 and 0.405, there we go. We're going to go ahead and rename our sketch. That was all we want to do with this sketch. And we're going to rename it Square Extrusion Sketch. There we go. And let me just check something real quick on my other video. Okay. So, we're going to continue here. So just a little bit of a background. Extrusion, what it means is that it's when you like add material. Now, what I mean by that is that I call this square extrusion sketch because what we want to do next is that we're going to extrude it, which is we're going to add material to the square. Now, I just wanted to provide that like definition just in case, because I know extrude might not be a word that everyone knows at first. So what extrude means when you add material, it's a manufacturing process, right? According to when I searched it up, it's where material, often plastic or metal, is forced through a shaped opening and then to create a specific shape. In this case, it's where we create a sketch and we create a specific shape with it. Now, for example, I want to extrude or add material to this square sketch here that we made just a second ago. And you can see it creates a shape, right? It adds material. Now, instead of it being 1 inch in depth, I'm going to want it to be 0.4 inches, 0.4, or you can do 0.4, same thing. And you can see it makes it shorter. There we go. Instead of extrude 1, I'm going to want to call it square extrusion add. So you can see it added material. Now, just a little bit of a reminder, you can add material, you can remove material as well. So if I wanted to remove it, it removes material as well. So you can do a lot of things with the extrude feature. There we go. And you can see I have my square here. There we go. Now, the next thing I want to do is that, similar to how we did our rocket spacer attachment and rocket nose cone, I want to add a square at the bottom so that the pieces, can connect to each other. So what we're going to do next is we're going to create another sketch. It's a sketch, and we're going to go ahead and go to the bottom plane. You can go ahead and click bottom on the view cube, and then from there you can see it needs a sketch plane. You're going to go ahead and click face of revolve 1, the base. So it's going to be this surface here. Now, once we do that, we're going to go ahead and click center point rectangle again, or R on your keyboard, and you're going to go ahead and click the midpoint or the origin here. In this case, the origin, and you just go ahead and pan out. Now, remember what I was telling you about the dimension key. You can go ahead, so you see that highlighted white there. I want it to be 0.41, boom, and 0.41. See that? There we go. Awesome. Now we're going to go ahead, instead of sketch 1, we're going to call it square bottom sketch, since this is the bottom of the part. And once we do that, afterwards, we're going to go ahead and click extrude and click the square we just made. And then go ahead and click remove instead of add, because we want to remove material to be able to connect each pieces. And we're going to want to remove it 0.71. There we go. Now we would want to call this square bottom removal. Awesome. There you go. And you made your part. There you go. That's it. Now, after we do that, and just a little reminder as well, how I'm doing right now, where I'm moving my, my view here, see all different directions. You can just right click on your, if you have a mouse, it's more efficient or faster if you have a mouse. You can move easier. It's easier for you to do this with the mouse if you have availability of it. If you don't have a mouse, you can just still do it with your mouse pad on your keyboard or your touchpad or on your computer. And what you want to do is just right click and just drag anywhere you want it to. And you can see I'm moving it left to right or top, bottom, any direction I want. Now, if you don't have a mouse, you can just go ahead and you have these arrows as well. They can do it similarly. It's a little bit slower, but it still does the same thing if you need to. Now on your touchpad, it'll be that you, your 2 fingers, you can just press on the touchpad and you drag 2 fingers at a time. It'll be the same thing. I'm trying to show you right now. See, there you go. Just a little bit of a helpful tip there if it helps. And then after we make the rocket payload, you can see it has this color here. Now, you can change your color. So I'm going to go ahead and click edit appearance and go ahead and click this blue here. It's just preference. I just wanted that blue, but you can pick any color you like. So for example, if I want it to be purple, let's just say I can make it purple or any color I want. So you can change the color. I want it to be blue here. There you go. Now afterwards, I'm going to go ahead and click rocket assembly, and you can see that this part is finished, right? But on rocket assembly, I want to add it to the assembly I have with rocket. You can see it's right here, rocket payload. I'm going to go ahead and click once on it. It appears here. Now you can just go ahead on your and just without even to touch anything, it moves. You don't even have to click anything, but you can click once you want a specific place. So for example, if I want it here, I can just left click it here and click check mark. And we're going to go ahead and click fasten mate. And then it's mating 2 entities, which means it's connecting 2 pieces together. That's what it basically means. Now, for example, what it does is that it does these little circles here, and depending on where you want to connect it. So for this case, I want to connect it to the middle. of the surface. So I'm going to go ahead and click once here on the circle here when it appears, and you can see it highlighted a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and right click and drag all the way to the bottom of this part. And I want to make sure it's on the middle as well. So once I do that, you see it, boom, it automatically clicks and connects. And you can kind of see in the outline what I did here. This is what the connection looks like. So this surface is connected to the surface of this, and so on, to be able to connect everything. And once you check mark it, you can just press X with this. There you have your connected part. There you go. Awesome. Congratulations. You have your connected rocket payload. So now you have 3 pieces connected to each other, hopefully, right? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Feel free to leave a comment on this video or anything like that, right? The rest of the video should be published as well to the rest of the rocket. So you have everything you need. And in the future, I'll be posting more videos on computer-aided design and different designs so you can learn more. And if you ever want to learn anything specific that I don't cover, you can go ahead in your document and hit this go to Learning Center icon. It's the person with the gears inside of the head. And once you click that, it actually takes you to another page where you can learn Onshape, right? Similar to how I'm showing you here, but this can get all sorts of specific. So for example, if you're new to CAD or computer-aided design, you can go here and it teaches you a lot of things, right? I did some of these courses already, but for example, if you were trying to learn more about sketching, you can go ahead and click View Details, and you can start course through there. Like I mentioned before, it's completely free, so all this is completely free. So you can do this in your spare time or anything that you want. It shows you each step of the way. So let me see if this helps me. Slide it real quick. There you go. So you can see it shows you videos like I was showing you right now, and then for each video, it gives you like little tasks as well. So for example, this task would be doing intermediate sketching, and it tells you the steps for each thing, as you can see. And it teaches you throughout the way. So it's pretty helpful. It's really helpful. And of course, it's free. So it's a wonderful resource to have. I'm going to click here, but thank you so much for watching. Hope I see you in the next video. Thanks so much.